Homeland Security vehicles and armed agents. A massive federal operation unfolds on Canal Street.
None of this is about public safety. It is about fear and chaos.
Street vendors targeted and detained, protesters marching behind ICE agents as tensions escalate. Tonight, the federal raid on Canal Street. Good evening, I'm Christine Johnson. The Department of Homeland Security says this operation targeted illegal vendors. Dozens of agents took over Canal Street, questioning vendors and taking some into custody. Many New Yorkers who witnessed it started demonstrating against the sweep, and later buyers and sellers all but vanished from a typically bustling area. We have team coverage here tonight. Alecia Reid has more on how vendors are reacting. Let's begin with Naveen Dhaliwal and the latest on how this all went down.
What began as a planned enforcement action by federal agents erupted into chaos on Canal Street Tuesday afternoon. A scene of shouting and pushing as crowds yelled at ICE agents.
You should be disgusted with yourself.
The Department of Homeland Security says the federal raid was focused on cracking down on the sale of counterfeit goods involving agents from ICE, FBI, and ATF. It's unclear how many vendors were detained, but DHS says at least one protester was arrested for allegedly assaulting a federal officer. And in a statement saying in part, rioters who were shouting obscenities became violent and obstructed law enforcement duties. And in a startling move, military-style trucks used by Homeland Security investigations drove through Lower Manhattan, escorted by armed federal agents.
There is no excuse for sending military-style vehicles and a national law enforcement response for street vendors.
None of this is about public safety. It is about fear and chaos.
Ordinary New Yorkers on their way home or coming home stood up and said what you were doing is shameful. And ICE's response to that was escalation and violence.
A spokesperson for Mayor Adams says undocumented New Yorkers trying to pursue the American dream should not be the target of law enforcement, and resources should instead be focused on violent criminals. Protesters made their way to 26 Federal Plaza, where those detained were taken.
The manner in which ICE is going into areas and just wreaking havoc, causing unsafe communities, this is clear. It's very obvious that this isn't making anyone safer.
Immigrants are an inherent part of the USA. They're not the problem in this country.
The NYPD says they were not involved, and this was an ICE enforcement operation. In Lower Manhattan, Naveen Dhaliwal, CBS News, New York.
We mentioned earlier this sweep led to an empty Canal Street tonight. Vendors worrying about what's next. Alecia Reid spoke with advocates who say that these workers are just trying to make a living.
Christine, these vendors are fearful they could be next. They opted not to go on camera, but say it was terrifying to watch ICE agents hop out of their vehicles and head straight towards fellow vendors. It's not the typical Canal Street one would see on a Tuesday night, free from street vendors that normally line the sidewalks.
Every time I get off the train, it's flooded with people selling bags, vendors. Today, nobody. I didn't even realize what was going on.
Cell phone video shows tempers brewing as federal agents arrested street vendors. Their merchandise still on display.
A lot of officers came in and started questioning people and arresting some.
Surveillance cameras captured agents on the sidewalk. Witnesses tell us vendors were plucked from multiple locations along Canal Street, including Lafayette, Broadway, and Church Street.
They've been grabbing people that have been coming here trying to support their family.
Director of Street Vendor Project, Mohammed Atiya, says vendors already face enforcement from several city agencies. He says it's difficult for them to get licenses, making them more vulnerable. Atiya called today's federal enforcement shameful.
It's really horrifying that this is happening in New York City, a city of immigrants.
Eyal Adri, who works nearby, says he understands people need to make a living, but says there are too many vendors.
Sometimes there'll be so many of them and so much stuff on the sidewalk that it's hard to live around here, hard to work around here.
The Street Vendor Project says they will be doing outreach, making sure vendors understand their rights. On Canal Street, Alecia Reid, CBS News, New York.
Stay with us for continuing coverage on the federal raid on Canal Street. Our morning team will bring you any new developments right here on CBS News New York beginning at 4:30.